All right, so I'm going to be going over what it's like to transfer into like a STEM major. As you may know, I went to community college and then I transferred to a large university, UC Santa Barbara, and I majored in physics. So I kind of know what it's like for like that STEM education transfer experience. So I'm just going to be outlining it and sharing with you some tips that I picked up on the way that would have helped a lot more if I knew them in the beginning. All right, let's get started. So the first thing to do is make sure you find your major's requirements. Normally they're all listed like online somewhere on your department's website or something like that. So if you can find your major requirements and then plan out the exact like classes you want to take for the next 2 years, that'll be perfect. You'll have like this good roadmap to know, and in case you like decide to go off it or anything, you still know like what is required classes and just know that you probably will not like follow this exactly, but it's good to know in advance what is required to graduate and like what courses are offered during what times and like what quarters and everything. That way you have a good plan. So when the past times roll up and you have to register for classes, you're not just lost wondering what to take. You have more of an idea of what you should be looking for. And you probably will go over a lot of this in your orientation, but just note that the advisors are like 100% geared more to like dealing with freshman classes and freshman stuff. So being a transfer student, you don't really get as good as advice and advising from the advisors because one, you're brand new to the school, so you need to learn like everything new and everything. Two, you're going into much harder and difficult classes because you're typically going to start with your upper division classes. And then three, you just kind of don't know like what to do. It's a completely new experience and you don't know any of the courses that are required or anything. Whereas the advisors typically deal with thousands of freshmen every year, they only typically deal with maybe 100 transfer students at a time. All right, the next thing I want to tell you to do is to make sure you get involved some way in your experience. Me personally, I was really involved in community college, but then when I went to university, I don't know, I just didn't like do too much stuff. But I feel like it's so much even more beneficial to like make your network of friends and connections in university because one, it's higher education, so they're probably gonna like be the people that you're gonna see like getting jobs and good jobs and everything. And then you can also take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that like clubs and associations and everything put together. Like say there's like professor meetings or lab tours or research opportunities that you get from certain clubs or certain opportunities. So if you can get involved, that's another one of the best things you can do. And even just not in like academic stuff. You can get involved in like sports, like intramural sports or anything like that, just to make friends because, you know, it's gonna be fun. And these are the people that like at top universities, they're gonna be probably the people making a lot of money and you want to have good connections with these people. But I definitely recommend getting like into social events with like your department or something. Like at UCSB, they had a bunch of physics clubs and everything like that. So join some of those. I know there are also engineering clubs there. There's also like math clubs, all kinds of different clubs and associations and stuff. So make sure you can try to get into those. Now, one of the most important things that I found out is to make sure you know how to ask for help. It is so important because I guarantee you, your class is going to be so much harder than what you were before. And they're also gonna be, you don't know anyone. So you have to find like a whole new group of people to work with and solve problems with and everything. I guarantee you're not gonna be able to solve every single problem by yourself. So having like a good network of like maybe 3 to 5 people is like essential. Even more if you can, like the more the better because you can have more connections and more people to ask for help and guidance and everything from. But at least like 3 to 5 people is what I would recommend, especially if you're going through your transfer orientation. Get the phone numbers of people or like make contact with them. Make sure you can like maybe start some study groups if there's any like transfer organizations or anything like that. Try to make friends with these people so that you are able to interact with them and ask for help and guidance. And if they're also transfer students, then you two can also help each other going through like what classes to take and like the transfer experience and all these other types of things, which is probably like even more important as well because it's so different. Also, make sure you go to office hours for the professors. I used to think office hours were like not really useful and like only for like students who want to like know like really high level stuff like that, but no, you can actually just go to office hours, ask the professor for help on a homework problem. I actually like didn't know that, so yeah, you just go to office hours, ask for help on a homework problem, hopefully the professor will steer you in the right direction, or honestly they might straight up give you the answer, like some of them do that too. So if you have any questions, just go ask them. You should also try to get into research. Now, research is typically seen as something that like you want for grad school applications because it looks good on grad school applications. But I didn't realize this, but research is also super important for going into the career industry after you graduate because they look for prior work experience even on entry-level jobs, and your research counts as prior work experience. So if you can get into a research lab, that'd be amazing. Typically, research labs at universities want to pick from freshmen because they train them once and they're there for 4 years, so it's a little harder for transfers to get into them. So your options are going to be a lot more limited, but I still highly recommend try a bunch of different labs, see if you can get in, and like just do research in one of them because it gives you that good experience. When I first transferred, I was not like aware or like realized how much harder it was going to be for the workload that I'm going to have. So be prepared to work a lot more, study a lot more, do a lot more homework, and just be prepared. Get your time management skills ready and make sure that you're on set and you're keeping up with the pace of the course. In the quarter system, you fall behind really easily. In the semester system, you forget things really easily. So make sure either if you're on semester, you're constantly reviewing past material. If you're on quarter, you're keeping up with all the new material every single week. And make sure that if you have any questions or any doubts on like certain problems or anything, to get help, because I guarantee you like a lot of these problems are basically going to be like on the test. And it took me a while to figure that out. Like I did pretty bad my first quarter, and then my second quarter I realized I didn't have time management skills, so I took more classes to force myself to learn time management skills, and it didn't really help. I mean, it helped with my time management skills, but it didn't really help with like my problem of getting better grades. By my third quarter, I figured it out, and I had really good time management skills, and I was able to like get along in my classes pretty well. But it will take you some time to get used to it too. So don't get discouraged your first 1 or 2 or even 3 quarters. You'll probably end up being fine in the end. And make sure you learn to study optimally. I'm making videos on how to study optimally, but there's plenty of other on YouTube as well. So make sure you figure out how you can study optimally for these classes and how you can manage your time the best way possible. Alright, and that's going to be it for this video. Give it a like if you learned something, and subscribe if you liked it for more videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.